Welcome to the realm of forgotten nightmares. In this third installment of our series on the most terrifying unknown horrors, we've unearthed hidden gems that will chill you to the bone and haunt your dreams. Join us as we explore the darkest corners of cinema where fear takes its most unexpected forms. Ready for a spine-tingling journey into the unknown?
We'll find another broken person. It will never
Number 10. Demonic. The terrifying film about the world of demonic possession and demonic forces focuses on a group of people who are drawn into a spiral of terror after experiencing brutal and disturbing events in one of their homes. The main character, after discovering that her friends were brutally murdered as a result of an unknown ritual, struggles with nightmares that lead to the discovery of the truth about the demonic presence in the house. The atmosphere is tense and full of anxiety, with numerous twists and surprising moments. If you are a fan of horror movies based on the themes of possession and demonic powers, this film may interest you. It is worth giving it a chance if you like this genre and are looking for something that will draw you into a dark world full of uncertainty and fear. Number 9. The Vigil. This chilling horror film introduces viewers to the world of Jewish tradition and occult nightmares. The film tells the story of a young man named Yaakov, who agrees to hold a vigil for a dead man as part of a Shemira ritual. The task seems simple: to spend the night in the house of the deceased, praying and ensuring the protection of the soul from evil spirits. However, what was supposed to be a peaceful, albeit sad duty turns into a terrifying nightmare. Yaakov soon discovers that he is not alone in the house. He feels the disturbing presence of something lurking in the dark, something that has no good intentions. A demonic force linked to the tragic past of the deceased begins to harass him, and the line between reality and illusion becomes increasingly blurred. The film gradually plunges the viewer into an atmosphere of claustrophobic fear and hopelessness, where every rustle, every shadow can herald an impending nightmare. This is an ideal choice for fans of horror films that build tension through psychological horror and atmosphere. This is a film that eschews cheap scares in favor of deep-seated, suffocating fear. Number 8. The Possesion of Michael King. If you're in the mood for a chilling story about how far a person can go in search of the truth and what can befall him on that path, then yes, this film can give you a lot of excitement. Possesion of Michael King is a film that draws the viewer into the dark depths of the human psyche and supernatural phenomena. It tells the story of Michael King, a skeptic who, after the death of his wife, decides to prove that demons, ghosts, and other supernatural beings do not exist. In an act of desperation, he gives his body to various occultists and exorcists, allowing them to perform terrifying rituals on himself. As the film unfolds, Michael begins to lose control of his mind and body. Something malicious and unimaginably evil begins to haunt him. His life turns into a nightmare, and viewers become witnesses to his slow demise, where the line between reality and hell becomes increasingly blurred. The film terrifies with its evocative atmosphere, the growing sense of danger, and the brutality of what Michael is experiencing. Number 7. La Cueva. The Spanish horror film tells the story of a group of friends who discover a mysterious cave during a vacation trip to a deserted island. At first, it seems to be just an ordinary, somewhat obscure tourist attraction, but the deeper they go into its corridors, the more they realize that they have made a terrible mistake. There is something in this cave, something that refuses to let them out. With each passing minute, the darkness and claustrophobic interiors begin to work on their psyche, awakening their deepest hidden fears and driving them mad. The atmosphere is suffocating, claustrophobic, and overwhelming, and the tension builds to the limit. The camera, which accompanies the characters at all times, gives the viewer the impression that he himself is in this trap with no way out, no hope. The film explores the psychological limits of human endurance and builds tension and horror with masterful precision, so it is certainly worth giving it a chance. Number 6. No One Lives. No One Lives takes viewers into a nightmare of unrelenting terror and ruthless revenge. The plot focuses on a group of violent criminals who kidnap a couple traveling through a desolate area. At first, it seems that they will be their next ordinary victims. But when they discover that the man they have abducted hides a dark secret, the real nightmare begins. This man is not an ordinary tourist, but an unstoppable psychopathic killing machine for whom torture and murder is just a game. The criminals who thought they had power over him soon find out that they are the ones who have become the game in a hunt from which no one will come out alive. No One Lives is a film filled with intense dark atmosphere and brutal scenes that may shock even lovers of the horror genre. Number 5. The House at the End of Time. House on the Edge of Time from 2013 is a chilling horror film that draws the viewer into an atmosphere of constant fear and uncertainty. The film tells the story of a woman, Dulcie, who after 30 years returns to her old home, where she was falsely accused of the murder of her husband and son. The place harbors dark secrets, and her return sets in motion an avalanche of terrifying events that link the past, present, and future in ways that are difficult to comprehend. The house becomes a trap where time ceases to matter and the past mixes with the present. Terrifying phantoms, mysterious disappearances, and macabre visions haunt Dulce, revealing unimaginable evil hidden within the walls of this cursed place. Each step of the heroine into the depths of this labyrinth of horror leads her closer and closer to discovering the truth, but also towards an inevitable confrontation with an unimaginable nightmare. The film gradually builds tension, introduces an atmosphere of unexplained horror, and leaves the viewer with a sense of deep anxiety. Number 4. The Prodigy. The Prodigy is a terrifying horror film that explores the deepest fears of parents that their child could be something far worse than just ill-mannered. The film tells the story of a boy named Miles, who from an early age shows remarkable intelligence but also disturbing behavior. His parents, concerned about his increasing aggression, begin to suspect that there is something supernatural behind his behavior. In time, it becomes clear that Miles's soul has been taken over by a dark, malevolent entity that uses his body to carry out its terrible plans. How far will the parents go to save their child, who is looking more and more like a monster than a human being? Will they be able to distinguish where their son ends and something inhuman begins? The film is full of dark atmosphere, disturbing moments, and psychological tension. It is a story that is memorable and makes us begin to look at childhood innocence from a completely different, darker perspective. Number 3. The Crucifixion. The Crucifixion is a dark horror film that takes us into the middle of hellish events, where evil is not just a metaphor, but a real, tangible entity. The film tells the story of a young journalist who begins to investigate the mysterious death of a priest. The clergyman died under horrific circumstances while performing an exorcism on a young woman. What she discovers leads her down a path full of horror, where each answer raises further, even more terrifying questions. Instead of explanations, she is confronted with increasingly disturbing signs that something indescribable lurks in the darkness, ready to devour anyone who dares to get too close. The film is built on mounting tension that heightens the feeling of unease and sends shivers down your spine. This is not just another horror movie. It is a journey into the darkest recesses of the human mind and soul, where evil lurks to attack at the least expected moment. Number 2. Don't Hang Up. 2016's Don't Hang Up is a horror film that takes you into a dark world of irreversible consequences of thoughtless actions. The film tells the story of 2 teenagers who make cruel, creepy phone calls to random people for fun. Everything seems to be an innocent pastime until they themselves receive a phone call from a mysterious man. This stranger knows all their secrets perfectly well and is ruthlessly intent on taking revenge for their brutal pranks. The game begins with a macabre showdown in which their every action could lead to the death of a person close to them. With every minute, The tension grows, and the line between victim and perpetrator blurs, leading to a terrifying finale. The film is intense, full of surprising twists and turns, and builds an atmosphere of honesty and fear. If you appreciate films that can terrify but at the same time provide thrills, this film certainly deserves your attention. Number 1. He's out there. Expect chills and nervous glances at the darkness outside the window after the screening is over. He's Out There is a horror film that tells the story of a nightmare a mother and her 2 daughters experience when they go to an isolated lake house. At first, it seems like it's going to be a peaceful family vacation, but it soon becomes apparent that something dark is lurking in the woods. This something is not just an observer, but a predator that hunts its victims in a terrifyingly organized and brutal manner. A woman and her children become the target of a mysterious, sinister entity that is ready for anything to get them in its sadistic plan. The film draws you into a spiral of fear and paranoia, and the viewer feels trapped in this macabre game of life. The filmmakers deftly build tension using dark scenery and an unsettling atmosphere. And that's a wrap on our journey through hidden horrors. We hope these chilling selections left you unsettled. If you have your own obscure fright fest to recommend, drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to catch more of our bone-chilling content. Remember, true terror lurks in the most unexpected places. See you in the next terrifying episode.